So I'm Dave Carr. I'm the Director of Policy Commissioning and Children's Health at Lancashire County Council, so working really close with Laura and colleagues. And I suppose that just made me think about the different natures of our partnerships and who we've got in the room. So we've done a kind of sense check if you've been to any of the previous conferences we have, where we just kind of shout out local authority names and just kind of get a sense of who's in the room and who's got the most enthusiasm. So there's no prizes other than the prize for actually being the loudest. So kind of let's see where we get to. So we'll start off with Bolton, and I'm thinking hopefully we'll have a few. Yay, very good, very good. Good start, good start. So I'll be back in Bolton, I think, in about 3 weeks' time for Bolton versus Exeter City. And I hope you don't beat us quite as much as you did last time. I think it was 4-0, horrendous. Okay, Bury. Yeah, very good. Manchester. Very good, good to see you, Manchester. Oldham. I think Oldham might be there so far. Rochdale. Oh, Rochdale. See, Rochdale is spread, aren't they? They're kind of they're networking. We like Rochdale. Okay, Salford. Very good. Stockport. Yeah, again, Stockport, bit spread. That's good to see. Warrington. And Wigan. Yeah, that's good. A wave and a cheer. Trafford. Yeah, great. Okay. So, any local authorities that we've missed? Well, yeah, Lancashire are everywhere. Go on, Lancashire. Okay, any others? Tameside, great. Have we got a Cheshire? As there was a Cheshire on the invite. Yeah, I think it was one. I'm doing double for Warrington as well. Right, yeah, just didn't want to forget you, that was all. But a partnership doesn't work without partners, so have we got police? Yeah, schools? Yeah, fantastic, fantastic. NHS? Yeah, good turnout. Now, I think we've got some care providers in the room as well. Any care providers? Yay! But isn't that brilliant that actually we can't do any of this without our providers? So thank you for coming. Who else might I have missed? Blackburn. Any others? We just about covered it. So DFE been very quiet, so not admitting that you're here in the room. So the biggest cheer I think needs to come from all of us for DFE actually, because without the DFE and the Regional Improvement Programme, I know Ivan is just continuing to champion this in terms of actually trying to get some traction across the region and turn something which has been very much about individual local authorities kind of developing strategies and making progress to actually trying to turn that something that lifts into system change across the whole region. So big round of applause, I think, for the DFE team. Okay. So, check-in, Slido. I have a Slido expert somewhere. Right, okay. So if you get your phones out and scan the codes, there'll be some mystery questions, and I've got a sense of the questions, but the actual question is going to be as much as a surprise to me as it is to you, so this will be entertaining. So there's excitement in the room, which is great. Opportunity, positive, uncertainty, hope, confusion. So a whole load of things in there, isn't there? And today is about trying to get us through some of that. So some of that actually uncertainty, what is it that we can do? Some of that inspiring and sharing learning and actually getting us to a point where we're all healthily excited about it, because excitement can be a really good thing, can't it? But it can be a kind of really nervous excitement as well. So hopefully we'll move through that. And then we'll do this again at the end of the day and just see where we are. So, scale of 1 to 5, how confident are you right now in understanding the upcoming reforms? So probably middle of the road, say for that. So again, by the end of today, hopefully we can just kind of nudge that up a bit. And then again, on a scale of 1 to 5, how confident are you in your ability to take the next steps to implement? It's always the hard bit, implementation, isn't it? You've got to start somewhere. Interesting. Feels that we're a bit more confident. Maybe that's because today is the next step, and we're all here, aren't we? So we're all doing something in terms of our next steps around the reform. So great. Okay. Right. So reforms overview. I'm not going to kind of dwell on too much of this because this is what you'll see during the day in reality. But in terms of the purpose of the reform, it's very much about improving outcomes. It's what we always want to do, isn't it? So earlier intervention, stronger safeguarding, more stable care arrangements. And without the partnership, we can't do that. That's why we kind of need everyone engaged in this. We know that we've got some systemic issues. We know that we've got fragmented services in parts, at least. We know we've got high costs, and we're all kind of challenged with that issue around sustainable budgets. We've got some brilliant practice, but actually we've got inconsistent practice at times. We know that as well. And all of this is obviously underpinned by legislation. And I think what you'll see today is some of the core elements play out in terms of family help, multi-agency child protection teams, family group conferencing or decision-making, kinship care and market reform. And we've got sessions throughout the day in the workshops which will kind of unpick some of that. So make the most of that. So there's an opportunity to listen, but there's also an opportunity to share your thinking and sharing your ideas. I don't think anyone would say they've kind of cracked this at the moment. So make most of the time that you've got today. Okay. So in practice and what it means, I think there's a number of things that spring to mind. So there's going to be new roles in the system. And we're going to have to think through what that means for training, what that impact on the workforce is going forward. And that's not just the local authority workforce, that's again for all of us. We've got to try and make this strength-based, so find those things that work. We can see some evidence, certainly in Lancashire and other authorities, in family safeguarding and other practice models and how we're managing risk. So there's something that we need to bring from the learning that we've already got across our system. Multi-agency teams is hard, and I think there's some really good examples. And we've got the LGA peer review team in Lancashire in at the moment, and we were talking to them yesterday about some of the models that we've got around exploitation, around family safeguarding, around our family hubs. And it's all brilliant, but actually it still feels a little bit disconnected at times. And a lot of the time, certainly for us, it's about a commissioning relationship, almost a contractual relationship. It doesn't always feel quite as much of a partnership as it could do. And certainly for the multi-agency child protection teams, then kind of some of our thinking is actually how do we make that work without this being all about additional cost, I suppose. And the biggest challenge, I suppose, is around the change. So change is hard. It can take a long time, can't it? So thinking about our family safeguarding journey in Lancashire, and we started in 2021, so we've been at it quite a long time now, and it does take a long time. It can be really difficult at the early stages, but when you get it right, it's absolutely fantastic, isn't it? When you do change well. Doesn't always end well, does it? I think we know that sometimes change doesn't work. It doesn't go as well as we want it to, and that's because sometimes we haven't got the right kind of components for change in there. And I think my kind of reflection is that you just have to keep going at it. So you kind of create a wave, a cultural change where actually everyone is aiming for the same thing across the whole partnership. If you get that bit right, then you get that sustainability to it, and you can start to see it through. And today we've got this real opportunity to come together, to listen to some of the work that the Pathfinders have been doing and to learn from that. So in terms of enabling change, and there's probably nothing new to people in here, we know that we need a strong workforce. We know that we need to engage the workforce. We know that there's an issue around resourcing, the collaborative culture and engagement and continuous learning. But I suppose just thinking about who's in the room today, then kind of my take on it is that you can't do this sometimes without support from your corporate kind of bits of the organisation too. So when you go back to your kind of local authorities, to your constabulary, wherever, try and do a bit of that engagement with your corporate services, because you will have people who do change, they do projects, they do finance, they do digital, they do learning and development. We couldn't do this without our amazing learning and development team in Lancashire. Your people services, they all kind of need to be understanding this and wrapped around it. If you just come at it from a kind of frontline practice point of view, without that wider organisational capacity behind you, I think it will be much harder to sustain and take it forward. Okay. So I'll try and move on and fail, so thank you. Okay, so 3 aims for today. So we want to give you the space for peer learning and networking, to give that opportunity to think about family first partnership practice principles across the Northwest. And like I said, we're trying to get some consistency around this in terms of how we do some of it and make sure we learn. And hearing from the Pathfinders. So I think you're probably all keen to kind of move on and hear some of that. So just leave you with a few things. So be curious, ask questions, share your thoughts, go back to your organisation and your local partnerships and share what you've learned, share what, hopefully you'll be in that enthusiastic space at the end of it with some ideas. So that's all from me. So for our first speaker, I'm really pleased to invite Sal. And Sal's going to, I think, enthuse us around relational practice. Thank you. Thank you.